Okay, let's go.
Well, hi, friends of the Coachella Valley. Jose here from the New Mindset. So, I first of all, it's been a while since we had a really good, deep episode, and today I'm really hoping that we're sitting with one of those fantastic stories. The more I hear about you, the more I want to get to know you. So, I'm sitting here with Wells Marvin.
Correct.
Right, most people flip that.
A lot of people get it backwards. First name's Wells, last name's Marvin.
We also
family names.
We also have somebody else here in the room. If you don't mind introducing yourself.
I'm Katie Abel.
So, Katie and Wells, you guys basically run Old Town La Quinta.
Well, yeah, I bought the land in 2001 and developed the plans for it. Opened the first stores in late 2003. So we just celebrated our 20th year last year.
Congratulations.
20th season.
That's awesome.
And then we built the next two buildings in 2007. So we have a total of 5 buildings. I'm the builder and I'm also the owner. I have some silent partner investors, but I'm the main owner. And Katie Abel is our property manager. So she runs everything day to day and keeps everything together and keeps everything running smoothly.
So you guys are not busy at all.
She's very busy. She's very busy, and she insulates me from some of the day-to-day things like plugged up toilets and.
That's right.
And
That's right.
Things
So now
like
you're
that.
the maintenance guy.
We have a maintenance guy who's worked for us. He was here from Mexico and lives in Coachella, and he's been with me, worked for me for 27 years.
Right.
Sam Nagrente, and he has been here since the first shovel was put in the ground, and so he knows every inch of this place backwards and forwards. So he's a huge help to keeping it all running smoothly. Literally.
So Wells, let me take you back a bit. Let's talk about where you came from and how you got to this point. So tell me, are you from the Coachella Valley?
No, I'm not from really anywhere, and that sounds a bit odd. My father was a career U.S. diplomat, World War II veteran, and then was in the Foreign Service from 51 to 81 when he retired. I was actually born in Berlin, Germany, in a U.S. Army hospital, and lived in Bethesda, Maryland as a kid. Then we were back overseas in Martinique in the Caribbean, back in the Washington, D.C. area when my father was at the State Department, and then finished up high school in, of all places, Ankara, Turkey. And then I went to University of Oregon undergrad, built houses starting in my freshman and sophomore year in college. So I've been primarily a home builder. Moved to California in '83 to the Bay Area, to the San Jose, Los Gatos area, South Bay, San Francisco area. And then I went to law school at Santa Clara and went into construction real estate litigation, and only practiced for about 4 years. So I haven't practiced for more than 30 years now.
Wow.
And so I'm a reformed attorney, if you like to call it, which is the best type because I don't harass anybody anymore. But anyway, and then moved down here in '97.
Okay.
And came down here to build houses and built $100 million of houses between 1997 and 2005, mostly in La Quinta and some in Indian Wells. Wow. I developed 42 homes at the Citrus, 19 homes at the Norman course at PGA West, and then 10 homes at the Reserve in Indian Wells.
Wow. Do you remember your first house?
Well, the first house I built, there was actually a duplex in Springfield, Oregon that I built the summer between my freshman and sophomore year in college, and literally poured the foundation, poured the driveway, had a mentor who, was a builder who showed me how to we framed the house, we hung the doors, we hung the cabinets, and then he showed me how to work with the plumbers and electricians to get their bids and to show them what to do. And so that was the first house. I remember it well. It was a really hot, really, really hard work.
What was your first mistake?
Oh, I've made plenty of mistakes. Any real estate or any builder or real estate developer that tells you he's never made a mistake is a liar.
Right.
So I don't know. Sometimes you say that the best deal you do is the one you don't do, and the other expression I have is, one of my favorite expressions is if you do a project and it really works out well, like Old Town. Some people might call me a visionary because I created Old Town from scratch in what was just a gravel lot in the downtown of La Quinta. But if you are not successful in your project, they call you bankrupt. So there's a very fine line between somebody who's visionary, if it works out, and if it doesn't work out, they're probably bankrupt.
What gave you the idea to build La Quinta? What was your inspiration for it?
Really new urbanism. I'd gone to a lot of places around the country as part of the Urban Land Institute. And as a home builder, I was very interested in walkable downtowns. There's one very famous one in Florida, in the Panhandle of Florida, called Seaside, Florida, where everything is within a quarter mile. So you have a core little village and restaurants and retail, and then you might have condos around that, and then you may have houses, but nothing is more than about a quarter mile walk. So everybody can walk or bicycle around. Rather than in this country, I think, having lived in Europe, my mother was English, so I've spent a lot of time. She was a war bride. I spent a lot of time in England, as well as a lot of time living and traveling in Europe. It's a different scale of things, where things are more human scale, where so much of the U.S. is kind of overbearing. You have big shopping centers and big high rises and freeways where you can't get from one side of town to the other because you can't walk it because there's a 8-lane freeway. You don't really want to walk under it. You can't walk over it. So it was to build a real downtown. And I came here and I was actually just looking at land to buy for building homes. I was living in Northern California, and a local realtor called Bruce Blomgren, who was one of the largest, still is one of the largest realtors here in town, showed me around. He drove me around to the village here, and I go, wow, there's all this land here. I can't believe it. And of course, and the La Quinta Hotel was developed in the 1920s. The Cove of La Quinta, which is now almost full of about, I think there's like 4,000 homes up there. The mayor lives up there. The city manager lives up there. I live up there, and all kinds of different people live up there. Yeah. Poorer people, wealthier people. Right. It's an ungated, I call it, I have a gate on my driveway. It's like a gated community of one, but it's a real community, and the houses aren't all the same. And so that was laid out in like 1928 by probably one of the world's most optimistic developers, who I'm sure by 1935 was bankrupt. But it's still there, and it's still being developed.
Well, and the thing you mentioned, and you touched on the fact that this is a European type of feel. As I'm looking around, and I've seen it before, I've always told my friends this has a very Spanish tone to it. I lived in Spain for a few months. It feels like Pamplona. And if you don't know, for those the listeners that don't know, it has that Spanish feel, and the Pamplona ones usually have pebblestones, but you fix that.
Well, it is. We tried to make it authentic. I seriously looked at making it like Tlaquepaque. And I don't mean not just the Tlaquepaque that's in Sedona. I went there several times, which is a kind of a recreation of a Spanish colonial 1500s town, with the walls are kind of, bending this way and that way. But I went to Guadalajara, to the original Tlaquepaque, which is the artistic district of Guadalajara, and spent a week there, just trying to absorb it. And you can't translate everything that works in Mexico. You can't translate it all to here. Right. But also, one of my favorite places in the world is Carmel, California. And so we've tried to incorporate the architecture of Santa Barbara, La Jolla, Carmel. Yeah. And, what I tried to create was what I would call Carmel in the desert. Okay, which sounds kind of maybe hard to achieve. And I think one of my proudest moments was, I think it must have been 12 years ago or so, I was up we had a restaurant here called the Hog's Breath, which was partially owned by Clint Eastwood. And he was there having dinner. And so the manager took me over to introduce me. And Clint, with his ex-wife, Dina, asked me to sit down with him for a few minutes. So I sat down with him, and he said, Wells, I got to tell you, and he had a house behind La Quinta Resort. He said, one of the things that I like I just love Old Town, Wells. And the thing I like about it so much is that it looks like Carmel. And I said, Mr. Eastwood, that means so much to me, not because you're Clint Eastwood, but because you were mayor of Carmel. You know what Carmel is like. He said, yeah, Wells, you've made a Carmel in the desert. And I said, oh my God, that's exactly what I was trying to do.
Also, it is Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, and
If
it's
you're gonna
Clint Eastwood.
you're gonna get a proof of anybody
Right.
in the desert. It might as well be
Clint Eastwood, here, the former mayor of Carmel, as well as the famous director. And all
Well,
that.
I gotta say, through all the accomplishments you've listed and continue, I mean, this place looks like it will stand the test of time.
Well, it's been, thank you. I mean, we're very proud of it. There's really nothing I would change in the way it was designed. We purposely slanted the street so it's not just a straight line.
Right,
so you
right.
can, as you go down the street, your vista changes. It's called changing your terminal vista, an architectural thing. And I'm not an architect. My daughter is an architect in Paris, France now, but I'm not an architect. But I, know what I like, and I know what I don't like, and I know what I'd like from Carmel and Santa Barbara. I spent weeks in Santa Barbara, and I spent countless hours walking around La Quinta Resort and Club, which is the local best thing. And I didn't think it made sense to build something that looked like Tlaquepaque in Sedona, because that would have been 1500s, and nothing would have been built here. There were Indians here in the 1500s, not white men building villages. And so I figured 1920s, this could have been built. It just didn't happen to get built. They laid out 100 acres of commercial in what is now the village of La Quinta, and it still isn't anywhere near fully developed.
Wow.
And
the best thing about that is there are so many people that come and enjoy this place, not just La Quinta and Old La Quinta, but overall the Coachella Valley, that continue to say, hey, maybe we can build something else. Talk about Cotino or whatever else you want to talk about. I mean, there's multiple entities, and it really stems from people like yourself that had the vision to create something in the valley that wouldn't have existed otherwise.
Well, I just created a little part of it, and it's just something that I felt it should have been built. And there's all different styles, That somebody else might do something like Cotino is more, modern. You might do something very modern. It doesn't have to be. I think there's a room, like cities in Europe. There's some very, very old buildings in London, and there's some very old ones. And in Paris, the same things. And they blend together. It's the diversity that we want, I think we want in our society, and a diversity that we want in our architecture.
Very good.
But I'll tell you one story, about Old Town. When it got approved, and it was unanimously approved at the time by the La Quinta City Council and the then mayor, Don Adolph. And apparently the city manager at the time told me that the day after it was approved, the mayor came into his office and said, let me understand this. So we approved the project for Wells, and the Main Street is going to be private. So is Wells going to own the Main Street, or are we going to own it? And he said, no, Mr. Mayor, Wells is going to own the Main Street of La Quinta. He goes, darn it, Wells got one over on us again. But anyway, the reason we did that was not because we need to control the Main Street, but we wanted to be able to block it off without going to the city council for approval every time. So we wanted to control our own destiny. So now we can have the art on Main Street, which we have 8 times a year. We can have the farmers market every Sunday during the season that we have. And we don't, otherwise we'd literally have to go to the city council every time we want to close off the Main Street. And we have
to the choir.
Well, we have the homecoming parade here for the high school, because I think if you literally own the Main Street, you have an obligation to the community to
you need
support.
your own rose parade.
Well, that might be a little ambitious, but I'm sure that's kind of started out that way in Pasadena.
Right.
They probably, some guys, whenever they started in the 1920s or 30s, and it grows.
Yeah.
And so, but it's important. We work closely with the city, and for the farmers market, the city has been very supportive on helping do marketing for the art on Main Street. And so it's important that we have a private partnership with the public.
Yeah,
well, the problem is in so many cities tried really, really hard, but it's never really kind of come together effectively, even though they've spent tens of millions of dollars. In the city of La Quinta, Old Town was developed without one dime of subsidy from the city of La Quinta. It was all my money and my investors' money, and of course loans. So we're very proud of that we were able to do it without, with the support of the city, that is the verbal support, but no financial support.
Fantastic. Well, let's use this moment to go to a quick commercial. When we come back, let's talk about what's going on today. We may come back and ask you what's going on today.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Well, hi, friends of Coachella Valley. Jose here from the New Mindset. I have a very special message to you from Chief Andrew Mills from the Palm Springs Police Department. Him and his team have been working to recognize youth out there, and maybe you can help. Check it out.
Hi, I'm Sandy Newton, and we are so happy that our stations have teamed up with the Palm Springs Police Department and the Walter Clark Legal Group to honor the youth in our community that are making an impact through their attitude, behavior, and community service.
Join us in celebrating this month's Do the Right Thing featured link.
Do you know a local kid you'd like to nominate?
That's right. If you do, head over to KESQ.com and click Do the Right Thing.
Sponsored by the Walter Clark Legal Group.
And we're back here. So so this Old Town La Quinta was built on the idea that something could be built similar to another location probably, but here in the desert, to be able to be enjoyed by now millions of people. I could safely say that. So the day-to-day operations happen, and the person in charge is here with us. So now I'm going to ask you, tell me a little bit of what's going on today in Old Town La Quinta.
Well, we are at the end of a very successful season. As the weather heats up, it's when the music festivals come to town. We see a lot of people in town starting today, right? Wells, we were talking about, we see some of the people trickling in from that are going to Coachella. We've got, some new businesses. One of the hot ones that everyone is going to in the mornings here is called Yes Please.
Yeah.
Have you been there yet?
I haven't yet. I keep hearing about it,
it,
and people keep telling me I'll probably have a meeting there sometime.
No, you've got to, have a meeting there.
Yeah.
So, and we've got our Main Street Coffee.
Of course.
You really can spend like the whole day here in Old Town. So that's really what we want people to realize, and we see it more and more. But like I said, we're at the end of our busy season. Today we were already talking about, getting things planned for our next season, our on Main Street events, and lots of exciting things coming up next season.
But also because a lot of your audience is local, I imagine. And the one problem we've been frustrated with for 21 years is we've never got as many local people who live here year round, who are working the job, day in and day out, to come to Old Town. There is the feedback we've heard is some people think that it looks so nice, it must be too expensive. Well, a cup of coffee here or a stuffed pizza or dinner is no more or less expensive than anywhere else. And yes, we have some nicer stores. We have some ones that sell, more expensive things, less expensive, but we're not like, the Gardens at El Paseo, which is pretty much Louis Vuitton, Cartier, and all that. Right. So we really do have something for everyone. So I would encourage the locals, and this is, it's easier to park, in the off season, so we want people to come all year round. We stay open purposely year round. We don't close down. We don't shorten our hours in the summer. So we are making a real effort through radio and TV and advertising and outreach to really, encourage locals to, if they haven't seen us, they haven't ever been here, come to one of our free events. The farmers market every Sunday, just come and stroll around and enjoy it. Maybe you buy some fruit, maybe you buy some flowers, maybe you buy some, meat or fish or whatever, but just come enjoy it and meet some of the other, you'll meet people that from school or from your office or wherever.
Yeah, it's really good to know that in a competitive market, a place like Old Town La Quinta can fit into it very well. There's some people that scale it up so much that it's hard to understand why I have to pay $30 one place and another just because it looks a certain way. What you're saying is, no, they're at market. So if you're coming to spend money at, say, Tequila, I think it's called down there, right?
Tequilas.
Yeah, I've been there before. I love, to my listeners, if you guys have not been to Old Town La Quinta, there's about 2-3 really great bars, and the rest are just amazing places. There's nothing bad about any of them. The Roadrunner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
yeah, we have the Roadrunner.
Love
we
it.
have the Grill on Main. We have Stuffed Pizza. We have La Quinta Brewing. We have Desert Club. We have lots of places to eat. Yeah. We have great ice cream, all kinds of stuff. So you can decide what some people want. We see people come and they just come to get ice cream, and other people come just to get pizza, or some people just come to get their nails done or their hair done. So there's all kinds of, and of course we have offices here too. We have lawyers and real estate agents and massage therapists and all these other things too. But we're trying to be, it's a more friendly environment. I go to Costco, obviously we don't sell paper towels at Old Town.
Right.
But so, I go to Costco, but it's never like, I don't really look forward to ever going to Costco. It's never an intimate, fun experience, really. And so we're trying to be very local and human and as I said, kind of a human scale of things where it's and at Christmas is a great place to shop because, you go to the malls and you get like run over by fellow shoppers or by cars. And here it's actually quite mellow at Christmas.
Oh, I love that. So let's use this moment to cut to a quick commercial. When we come back, we're going to talk about the future and what's coming up. We'll be right back, guys.
Are you ready to promote your business, brand, or special event? Would you like to attend red carpet VIP events or get your business in the headlines? Look no further than entertainment lifestyle firm Manos Public Relations. Headquartered in Los Angeles, Melinda Manos and her team offer a full range of PR services, including event coordination. With over 15 years of experience promoting top-tier clients, Melinda works closely with each client to secure maximum exposure for their project or brand. Our innovative campaigns define many leading CEOs, entrepreneurs, experts, businesses, and exceptional talent and filmmakers. For more information or to discuss a customized PR campaign, please visit www.manospr.com.
All right, we are back. Let's talk a bit about what's happening. So the season's coming to an end, and so you're prepping for what's coming next. Can you give us a little insight, give us a tease of what's happening out here in Old Town La Quinta?
Well, we do have a little bit left of the season. I don't want to make it sound like we're closing or anything like that. We've got a lot of things happening, for the rest of the next couple of months. But next season, after the weather starts to cool, we are talking about having another family fall festival, which is really successful. Last year, it was really fun to get, the kids out on our grass and do some things that were fun for the whole family. We are talking about possibly adding some more art on Main Street events,
Nice.
so that we can see, some different types of artists and, kind of growing that event a bit. And we are also talking with the La Quinta High School again. We have them every year come for their homecoming parade.
Oh, really?
Which is really fun.
That's here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
here.
it was a school. I've heard about it. I didn't know it was here. Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So we usually talk to them in the summertime, and they let us know what date it will be. We've had the cheerleaders out on the lawn doing
Wow.
a photo shoot right before the parade, and then they start out at one end of Main Street, and we block it off, and of course all of the families line up and down Main Street, and then it's a really fun event. A lot of people that have offices here go out on their patios, me included, myself included,
Oh, no way.
and you can kind of have a really great view of
Oh,
the parade.
that's so fun.
Yeah, and it
Oh my
really
gosh.
Well, the mayor sometimes rides in they have different like low riders and different like classic cars and
Right.
things like that. And so it's just a fun event. And it, to again support the community, and we provide the facilities, and we're open to working with other nonprofits to do it. We've done events in the past for breast cancer awareness. We have a blood drive coming up, I think, very soon.
next Wednesday,
Next-
April 16th.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So a
at
couple
8
times,
o'clock.
a
Okay.
couple times a year we have the Bloodmobile here, and we encourage people to come by Old Town, and then I think we give them a coupon for a free coffee.
Yeah.
Oh,
If they give
or-
blood.
Main Street.
Yeah, tequilas. You can get a gift card for tequilas.
There we go. I'm getting
Better
ready to
stuff
donate
back.
blood. You sold me at Main Street Coffee.
But the main thing is to really involve the community on a daily basis, and we've had events here for our first responders where the mayor gave out awards to the police and firemen and paramedics. We do cops and coffee, what they call
I
it
love
sometimes, where the sheriff will come over, and just so the community can meet our what's La Quinta police, but it's really the sheriff who is the police for La Quinta. And so we're open to doing more things, or we've always done things for the community, because building community, literally we are the Main Street, we are the heart and soul of La Quinta. So we want to continue to do things. We have our commercial space is 100% full. fact, we have people waiting that would want to
Wow.
get in here. And in any
Wow.
commercial project, whether it's El Paseo or whether it's Rodeo Drive, you always have turnover.
Absolutely.
And we're all, really every business here is a quote unquote mom and pop business. And you know, people have, you know, unfortunately health issues or death or divorce or whatever.
Sure,
So, you know,
sure.
there's always turnover, but
Yeah.
that we don't see that necessarily as a bad thing because you're always renewing the community. And the
Revitalizing
advantage we
it.
have over El Paseo or maybe downtown Palm Springs is because we have a unified ownership. We can kind of curate the offering here. So we don't have like
I
8
see.
t-shirt shops
Yeah.
like they have on Prom Canyon. We're not going to have 6 Mexican restaurants. You know, we curate it so we have something available. We have, you know, you can buy a $30 woman's top, or you can buy a $800 women's top. We have
Okay.
various stores that have
Good.
different price
Good.
ranges. So we like to say there's something for everyone.
That's fantastic. What is the newest? Do you guys know what the newest? I would say storefront that you've had.
You know, I think it's Mimi and Ray is our I think she moved in about a year and a half ago. Great store, recommended to everyone. It's very popular for the people who are here for the festivals. Very nice things in there. I think that she's the newest. And we have people that have been here for 14 years.
We have people, Chef Pizza has been here since the very beginning for 21 years, and some of the other tenants have been here. We've always had ice cream since the very beginning. It's had a couple of different iterations. Now it's made from scratch, made with liquid nitrogen.
Wow.
And so you'll see in the end of May when the school is about to let out, teachers will come over with their whole class and they watch them. It's like a science project because there's all kinds of this dry ice makes all this clouds of quote unquote steam. They make ice cream from scratch.
The reason I asked is because you guys are very well connected. You are so well connected. You know that answer. I'm sure you know most of us would have to dig through the back of our head to find it out. But it sounds like you guys are very well connected to everybody. Would you say that coming in? I know there's a list of people. Would you say coming in and trying to be in the new business is a small wait or a longer wait, or does it just depend on the season? What's that wait around?
We've got a couple of we get calls all the time asking for available space on Main Street. Some of the people that call probably wouldn't be the right fit either because we have someone that's too close.
You curate it and you do right.
Yeah, but we've got some really good potential, people in there. It just really we don't really know, when someone might retire, when they might decide, to move on. A lot of our tenants, like I said, have been here for a while. But yeah.
I mean, what we try to do is, we again curate there are some people we wouldn't let in. Not that we're discriminating, but we don't want a vape shop. We've had a lot of people want to put in a vape shop,
right,
or put in a piercing and tattoos. Again, there's a place for that. There's lots of places you can go and get that done. It's not our thing, if you will.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're open to diversity of stores and services.
Well, I can't wait for the movie theater.
Us?
Oh, yeah.
No, we're not putting a movie theater. I don't know where we hear a lot of rumors about a lot of things we're doing and not doing. But
That's right.
There's a great movie theater just up Washington.
Yeah,
and people
absolutely.
come here for dinner and they zip up Washington and go to the movie.
Yeah, it's great actually. This place is so well centralized from a lot of activities going on that it's easy to. You're right. It's easy to come and have dinner here first, and then you can go do whatever you're gonna do in the real world.
Exactly.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
actually had the Palm Springs Film Festival was at the theater in La Quinta for the first time, and we had people coming over from there. Like Wells said, to have dinner after the film, or have lunch before they go over. So
it's a good place to be. Yeah.
One of the things coming up is Restaurant Week, which comes up in
it's the end of May, beginning of June.
And we pay for our restaurants to participate because we want to bring people here to Old. And it's a slower time of the year, but it's to give us a chance for people to come out. Generally, they have 2 price points, and you can get normally it's a 3-course meal, like an appetizer, main course, and dessert for a fixed price. And so the restaurants are providing especially good value during that time. So it's a great time to come out if somebody hasn't been here already, or even if they have been, to come out and have a nice dinner. And try out a new restaurant.
Wow, you guys really have it all. I love it. I can't wait to come back for that. Well, let's cut to the last commercial. But before we cut to the last commercial, so let me tell you about this last segment, because I always hide this from everyone because I always love telling the story. About 20, I'm going to say 30 episodes ago, I don't know how long ago it was, I interviewed a DJ, local DJ here in the Valley. Great story. Tells, the world that, if you ever want to hear or see if you want to be a part of this, let me know. So I have a younger brother. I'm the oldest one of 5. My youngest brother, Eric, calls me and says, hey, I heard your episode. First of all, I didn't know my family listened to my podcast. Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, I heard your episode. I really love that part where the DJ said, if you want to be a DJ, like I want to be a DJ. I said, dude, who are you? I've known you all my life. You're a dentist, for God's sake. Like, how are you going to be a DJ? That is insane. But I realized that at that point, I said, wow, you never know who's listening. This podcast is heard worldwide. It really has a lot of places that people in Europe listen to us, right? All the way to Germany, Asia, Oceania. I mean, there's no limit. As long as you have internet, you can hear us and people listen to us. So in this last segment we're going to go into, when we come back from commercial, I'd love to ask you to give us your pearls of wisdom. I deemed that because it literally is that. What are some guides? I mean, 5 steps to become me doesn't work. I don't think that exists. But some clues, some keys. Hey, if you just, what would you say would be a way to be successful in the way you have been?
You want to ask me?
Oh, yeah. I'm checking in with you, Marvin. Okay. So we'll be right back.
Wells.
I did it again. See, now we're playing to commercial now.
¿Buscas el cóctel perfecto y sin problemas? Conoce los cócteles premium de Booze Box, hecho a mano con licores de primera categoría e ingredientes reales. Booze Box te trae el bar sin necesidad de camarero. Simplemente agita, bebe y saborea al momento. ¿Listo para elevar tu próxima reunión? Recoge un Booze Box hoy en tus Tower Markets o en el supermercado Vallarta y a festejar los buenos momentos.
And we're back. Wells. See, I fixed it. Tell us how to get here.
Well, I think the most important thing is be true to yourself and be honest and straightforward and open with people. And a lot of people tend to, think that if they're more secretive about things or they don't tell people their hopes and dreams, that somehow that's going to benefit them. I've always been the opposite. I'm out there. I wear my opinions on my sleeve. Sometimes that might get the mayor or a city council member mad at me or somebody, but I just call it like I see it. And I think the most important thing in if you're talking about their career or is to, do what they're passionate about. If they're passionate about numbers, and then, be a CPA. I practiced law for 4.5 years, and I think it was a good experience, and law school probably taught me to be more focused and ask better questions, but I was just not passionate about practicing law at all. And so I went back into my real passion, which was building things, building houses, building apartments, building, commercial property. And the thing that's maybe even more rewarding, although people might come up to you and say, I still have people come to me and say, well, we live in one of your homes and we love the Marvin homes that you've built at Citrus or at Reserve or whatever. But here, because people are here every day and they're using it, and it's even more rewarding. I hear people say about how this was built in the 1920s, which it wasn't. So I don't go around eavesdropping on people, but I do hear little snippets and I hear a lot of people that say they really love it. We get unsolicited calls from people just saying how much they had a great dinner, they had a great experience, their family loves it. Whenever they come, people love to show off their talent, whatever town they live in, to their family, to their friends. And their people are generally, most people, I presume, are pretty proud of where they live. So we love it when people come here, whether it's for an art show or for the farmer's market or come to lunch or just for a cup of coffee or whatever, and they're bringing their kids, their parents, their cousins, their brother and sister who are visiting from out of town, because they have something to be proud of. And, that's certainly so true in, Santa Barbara and Carmel and all those places. There are some places that probably, there are some places that really don't have a downtown. So what do? Take them and show them the Walmart and the Costco? Well, they've got that where they live. This is unique. And the stores here are unique. So when to me, you come to visit a place like this because if you go to the shopping mall, there's a not Sears, sorry, I'm dating myself, but a Nordstrom, there's a black and white market. There's, these stores. When you go back to Seattle or Portland or St. Louis or New York or wherever you're from, you can go to the same store. You can order it online. We have all, pretty much unique things that once you go back to Seattle, you're not going to find.
Yeah.
So I think just be true to yourself and, do something that's authentic. There's so much ersatz, for lack of a sort of a German word, but there's so much faux stuff in this country. I happen to have a house in Greece and I travel there, and it's very real in Greece, for better or for worse. I mean, it's rough and tumble and it's hard scrabble in a lot of places, but it's very authentic. And so I think that's, authenticity comes in lots of different shapes and forms, but I think that's what Americans are looking for, because so much of our country is just cookie cutter houses, cookie cutter developments, same stores, same chain restaurants. Yeah, and there's fine. Yeah, I mean, fine. Go to McDonald's, go to Starbucks and all that, but it's never that rewarding to your soul. So we're trying to have things that are really authentic and that you are proud of, and that you are really proud of your town. And it all was done at no cost to the city.
They love you for that, I hope.
Sometimes they do, sometimes
That's
not
right.
so much.
Well, oh my gosh, I don't know that's the great note to leave it off on. You truly feed people's souls before everything else. That's amazing. That's a great message. Well, with that, let's before we sign off, I'd like to know, how can people find out more about your events? Is there a social media account, a newsletter maybe they can sign up for?
Yep.
What's the best way?
A couple of different ways. You can go to our website, oldtownlaquinta.com. You can sign up for our newsletter that way, where we send out emails about upcoming events and things like that. You can follow us on Instagram or on Facebook at Old Town La Quinta. And you can listen, we've got radio ads. We have lots of different ways that we're sending out information.
Fantastic. And the next event you said will be coming up in a few weeks, but what's going on in May, you said?
So Farmers Market is every Sunday through May. We're closed on Easter. Farmers Market won't happen on Easter. It's from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Parking is free. Admission is free. Lots of great local farmers here. You can stay, have lunch afterwards. And then we'll start our Art on Main Street events back up in the fall.
Great. I can't wait to come in. Christmas is my favorite time of year, so you better believe I'm going to be back here on Christmas and see how beautiful it all looks. I've seen it before. I know what it is, so it's a great feeling to see all the palm trees with all the different...
all the lights.
Yes. It's something you fall in love with immediately. Well, guys, thank you so much. And to all the listeners, I do appreciate your time. If you're listening this morning at your workout, thank you for being with us. And if you're listening tonight, have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.